We call it the Taco Tuesday Nooner. That's right, Russell and Hodges, the Brewmance. We're just going to do it at noon. Why not? Just for funsies. I am done sneezing. Rob is back from Miami, and it's good to have you, buddy. It's good to see you back in the southwestern United States. So it's always good to have you around. All of a sudden, you're a damn country music fan. What the hell happened, bro?
Man, it's years of you wearing me down, number one. And then a couple songs here or there, I'm like, yeah, I'm not a country music fan. I just like this song. I like this Luke Combs, Beer Didn't Break My Heart. I like that one.
Yeah.
And then you go to a 4-day country music festival and you're like, this stuff's pretty good. And then you start listening to some Eric Church music, and you start listening to some Morgan Wallen music, and all of a sudden you've listened to country music for an entire week, and you were like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I had a friend of mine had back surgery, had spinal fusion surgery, and he was like, I hated country music. But my neighbor or whatever it was just blaring country music the entire time, where I was laying in bed stuck on Vicodin, and I was just absolutely loving it. And all he listens to was country music now. You have to give it a try, and if giving it a try means you have to be bedridden with some Vicodin, go for it. You'll be a better person for it.
Yeah, well, and you're trying something new. You're expanding your comfort zone. All the good benefits from coming with listening to new music and trying country music out. Totally way to do it.
Now, Tulsa Time is a song you've been listening to for a hot minute. Yeah, right. Okay, so Tulsa Time, that's country music.
That's country.
Now the newer stuff that you're talking about is what's being referred to as bro country. Like everything starts with girl and Chevy and lift a jacked up truck. And so that's the whole so are you a bro country guy, or are you dipping into the old stuff?
A little bit of both. Now, okay. I do need some education on some of the older things, because I do the 90s hip hop influence on the bro country is what's drawing me in. The flow is pretty nice. Yeah, the beats are pretty. You can tell that these guys like Sam Hunt, Morgan Wallen, even Eric Church, Jelly Roll, all these guys who performed at Stagecoach all had some type of hip hop cover reference in their song. And as they were doing that, it dawned on me. I'm like, no wonder why I'm starting to like this music, because it's what, me, when I was a teenager, 16 years old, listening to hip hop music, those same kids, Eric Church is the same age as us. I think he's right in between. I think he's 46, Mike. Okay. So, he grew up in that same era that we did, listening to Snoop. And he's listening to Snoop, and he brings Snoop out, not Snoop out, but he sings a Snoop Dogg song. And I'm like, oh, these guys are influenced by the same thing. Okay, Eric said 47. Mm-hmm. So that was just fascinating to me, and my antenna goes up, and I'm like, whoa, okay, what else can I find that's more like hip hop? And then Morgan Wallen definitely has a flow, and he's got these almost hip hop beats in some of his songs in the background.
Sure. And I think a lot of the collaborations are the way you go. It's going to save music, save society, save the industry. When those that run the hip hop world, the labels and in the rap world, they're in it for division, and they're in it for that kind of culture, or jail culture, prison culture, crime culture, gun culture. And it seems like if you look at the spectrum, you'd see the country music would say the country music, although the history of country music is full of drugs and alcohol. I mean, crazy, rampant drugs and alcohol and fighting and all that stuff. But once those two fuse, that just kind of middle America, just kind of like, we love the country, and then these hip hop guys with all the talent in the damn world, they come along, they're like, oh, I don't have to talk about shooting my neighbor and all that noise. Okay, cool. I'll do a collab with Morgan Wallen. That'd be kind of rad. And by the way, just so we're very clear, Beyonce, no, not a country singer. She even paid Dolly Parton, I don't know how many millions, to try to make it look like she's just not. I'm sorry. It's not country music.
Beyonce is just Beyonce. That's all. I know Lynn is always thinking that, that 50 to 70s range of country music's where it's at. All right, Lynn, so give me one suggestion of who I should listen to, and I will put that artist on and give it a try. But you got to pick one, and one only.
Okay, did you listen to Clint Black when he was there?
No, I did not get to see Clint Black.
Okay, Willie Nelson.
I did see Willie. Dude,
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain might be one of the most beautiful songs ever written. God, I remember. I'll never forget the first time I heard that song. I was in the back of my my parents' Cherokee.
Oh,
and they play. Nice. It's probably an 8-track, dude. This is how far back that goes. And I was just like stunned. I was a kid, and I was like, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard." It's weird. So yeah, it's good.
It is weird. I'll definitely
and roll me up and smoke me when I die is a fantastic one.
Nice.
No, don't. Yeah,
that's totally Willie. I do have to say, you can tell Willie Nelson is old. I mean, he performed. He was 90. He's 90 or 91.
Yeah,
he is. But the fact that he's still doing it is absolutely amazing, because I don't know if his family's just like, dude, just go out there and play. We need some money. I don't know what the backstory is.
Yeah.
Or if it's really just like, this is what I was born to do, and I'm going to do it until I can't do it anymore. And he can still sing okay. His old hands holding the guitar. It can still play.
That's Tiger.
That's how I want to play life right there. I want to be still playing at 90, 91 years old.
That's Tiger, his guitar.
Tiger.
Yeah. So when the Fed showed up and raided his farm and seized everything because he got screwed, and he lost all his money. The IRS was like, you millions back, dude. And they raided everything. He told his daughter, he was on the road. He told his daughter, he said, go in there and get Tiger. Make sure you got Tiger. If I got Tiger, we can do this again. Like, I got this. And then a group of farmers, because of what he did for Farm Aid. Remember Farm Aid?
Yeah.
What he did for Farm Aid, a group of farmers got together, a collaborative, and farm money's big money, dude. Don't even kid. Y'all think a bunch of rednecks out here in the West Valley. Woo!
Money out big here. Houses and big money,
dude. But all the farmers got together and they sat the auction. They're like, okay, we'll buy everything. And they bought everything and left it right where it was and handed Willie the key back.
Awesome.
How cool is that?
That is really cool.
That's a culture that just stands together, and it's pretty rad right there. All right. Merle Haggard. Okay, buddy. You got it. You got to listen to some Merle Haggard, my man.
Got it written down right here.
Okay. All right.
Clint
Merle
Black.
Haggard.
I got some Willie, and I got Merle Haggard. Those would be my assignments for the week.
All right, dude. I like that. Yeah. Rob used to do a podcast called The Sound Surfers, which I think was one of the most amazing ideas. And I'm encouraging him right now as we sit here to see what you can do with blow the dust off that, dude. What a group. What an amazing concept.
Yeah, actually,
about 4 or 5 guys from different backgrounds and different likes and different everything. They listened to an album a week and then came back and talked about it. It's mind blowing. Great idea.
An episode of Sturgill Simpson. So I think it was 2016. I can't remember the name of the album offhand, but it's like a country rock blues album.
Oh, I know Sturgill Simpson very well.
Fantastic. But that awesome. Was one of those, after talking to Mike Russell for at that point 10 years about country music or maybe longer. I listened to this album. I'm like, oh, maybe country music isn't quite what I thought it was. Maybe there was some electric guitar in it that I could get down. So again, it's like a slow process of change. Like you hear Sturgill Simpson in 2016 or 2017. Mike and I start doing Russell and Hunter. By the way, I've been jamming to Midland's Drinking Problem.
Yeah.
That's a jam.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Drinking Problem is a fantastic song.
And the harmonies, really, it very reminiscent of My Maria.
They should be, Rob and I used to go to lunch all the time at the Dirty Drummer downtown, and they would play there. Like that's where you would find Midland. You'd find them there.
Awesome.
They fit right in there. It's fantastic. And Coulter Wall too, by the way. Grizz has popped in with Coulter Wall. Don't play. That's not old, by the way. It's a new guy. He's a new guy, but he brings back, that is some throwback country, and it's pretty damn impressive. I love it. It's a great
suggestion
there too. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Got a music week ahead of me with some newness.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there you go. And roll me up and smoke me when I die. So in other news, Rob's now in country music. I actually went to Bill Mahr live.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I went to Bill Mahr live. I am dating a liberal. And she brought, I think she bought the tickets almost as a joke, like, okay, you're going to go to a liberal comedy thing. We were crying laughing the entire time. Now, Bill came out, he's high as a kite, and and he had announced too, he'd been smoking the whole time in the back. Thanks, Greg. So he'd been smoking like crazy in the back. So there were some bits that I had already heard that maybe we'd even played on this show. When he's talking about wokeness, that he just didn't deliver that at that last, we got it at the end there, brings it all home. No. And the guy is anti-cell phone. Anyone touching a cell phone during his show will get kicked out immediately. He will call you out on stage.
Wow.
Yeah. Like some lady, he's like, is there something you want to grab and anything you want to do before I continue? Like calling them out. And then somebody says she's checking her like diabetes, blood sugar, insulin, or something like that. So that was the joke. Every time we saw someone on the phone, they're saying, like, "How's your insulin? You good? You good over there?" But the Bill Maher he might team up with Elon Musk to save our society. Period. He lives in an elitist bubble. He does. He lives in a very left bubble. He lives there. Like, he said he alluded to Jan 6 rioters killing cops. I'm like, okay, bro, okay. You know what I mean? And you just kind of let that stuff pass you, because the rest of the stuff is just absolute gold. I mean, from politics to marriage. He obviously hates Donald Trump, and he used to love Donald Trump before he ran for president. He was a huge Trump fan. Didn't admit that. There was a lot of omissions in his thing, but what he was preaching was essentially what we talk about all the time, is that there's 10% of lunatics on the right, 10% of lunatics on the left, and 80% is where we, the people, live. Common sense cats and can just sit and have a conversation about country music in one moment, and we're going to bring up, Governor Hochul in another minute. We can have a conversation. He's even said, back in my day when I was a kid, we'd go over to our neighbor's house for dinner. We didn't know who the hell they voted for. We didn't know their religious preference. We didn't know if they, had experimented with different sexualities in college. We had no idea, because you didn't talk about that crap, and we were all better off for it. People minding their own damn business. Didn't know who they voted for, and it's smart that way. So it was good to go and see that. And I've always thought Bill was, for the most part, a common sense kind of cat. I don't agree with everything said, and he definitely wouldn't agree with everything I say. But I think that that's the type of human that we need in the spotlight.
I agree, because the opposite is what we are seeing in media. And I look at it this way. As our friend Congressman Schweikert has told us, it's always about the money. The economy of division is massive. We've been talking about this the last few weeks. It's probably trillions of dollars in the economy. So let's say the GDP each year is, I don't know, $28 trillion. How much of that is media, is politics, and money moving around? Probably $8 trillion. I don't know. But there's a massive effort to do that, to keep people divided. Meanwhile, I went on this business retreat this weekend, and it's part of this group of 9 people. Not one time did we sit down and be like, so, dude, like, Mike, who did you vote for?
Yeah.
We didn't even get into it.
Who cares?
Worked on ourselves and our businesses and helped each other out and got along quite well, despite not knowing who we voted for, how we wanted to label ourselves politically.
Yeah, because I don't care. I really don't. Some of my dearest loves voted for Biden. Okay. I don't care. I really don't. That's your vote. That's just some person. It's like me bitching about what kind of underwear you wear. That's your choice.
Hold on, let me look.
Not mine.
Let me look.
Oh, I got a thong on. Don't kid.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm rocking a banana hammock. I'm good with that. I kid. I don't want to give anyone that visual. I apologize. I'm going to go on a 30-second timeout. Go ahead, Rob.
As he puts his head down in shame.
In shame.
Just be free in who you are. If you're rocking the banana hammock, just own it and just do it. Let's go. Woo!
My kids thought they were funny when one of my birthdays and got me a Speedo, and I just walked right into the bedroom, put the damn thing on, and I wore it. And I'm like, what? You bought it for me.
I love it.
You thought this was funny. Here we go.
Great gift, kids.
All this whole flabalanche going on right now, right in front of you. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yep. That's what you get. Yep. Careful what you ask for.
Yes, and Lynn, we will definitely get to Hochul. What an absolute racist moron that woman is. But it was, I think it was entertaining to go and see a group of people, because I knew where Bill had gone, because you and I do this. Rob and I do this all the time. So I know why we keep our eye on things. We know where the John Olivers are. We know the late night guys. We know where their heads are. We know where their trajectories are. And it's mostly stupidity. Bill's been on a good course. Bill has been on a real good course. And so I knew where he was coming from, because I've been paying attention to his show. I enjoy his show. And so you watched people funnel in to what used to be the celebrity theater. I don't know what they call it now. Some financial something. And so watching people funnel in. And I'm going, y'all have no idea y'all think you're going to get one thing. You are not going to get it. I mean, that crowd was cold. somebody until he started bagging Trump. They were icy because you can watch them. They're right out of like, academia central casting and just kept, their elitist views and, like, here's how many degrees I have. Those people coming in. I'm like, you have no idea what is about to hit you because it is not what you think it is going to be.
Going to be a wake-up call.
It was.
And it like the crazy part about Bill Maher and anybody that's in this realm, and even Dave Chappelle gets put into this category, that they push this edge. And I'm like, but it's not really an edge. It's obvious. That's why Dave Chappelle and Bill Maher's criticisms of wokeness make sense to normal people, because normal people are like, okay, y'all believe what? Yeah. And I would like this too. This whole push for DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah. I just like to remind people that's basically so white managers can look good and keep their jobs and not get DEI'd themselves. So it's like, I love DEI because it provides more protection for me, and it looks like I'm hiring a bunch of people who don't look like me. That's all. And
getting ahead of the social credit score.
Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
That's exactly what it is.
Tell me I'm wrong.
100%.
Getting ahead of the wave.
100%.
Absolutely, 100%. And it's funny, Greg, he said it's like Catholics. I'll tell you they're Catholic. I didn't ask. It's like CrossFit. It is. It's like CrossFit. It's like I didn't even ask if you've been working out. I didn't even tell you look good, but you're going to tell me how you've been doing CrossFit for the last 6 months. Beating up a tire like it did something to you.
Hey, man, tires are tough. I tried CrossFit for a little while, but it was basically to support a gym owner that we met during the pandemic, and they closed his gym down. And he was like, how am I going to survive? This is what I do for a living.
I got a rope and a tractor tire over here. I'm going to start a CrossFit gym.
That's right.
I tell you what, yeah.
Dude, those workouts are hard, man.
And that's why they have such a high rate of injuries.
Big time.
Seriously, CrossFit and pickleball are like the number 2 Gen X injury causing things right now.
Well, pickleball, us Gen Xers be taking that way too seriously, thinking it's like ping pong. It's not quite as big as tennis, so I can go nuts. I'm like, yeah, but you're going to fall and break your ankle.
Yeah. It's tennis for kids for Gen X people that didn't play sports in high school. This is exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. I can do this. No, you can't. You're going to hurt something. Seriously, I get injured getting out of bed. At 49, I'm like, it's a risk. I'm like, okay, well, I do have to get up. So here we go.
You know, it shows the strength of you, Mike Russell. Face it every day, despite the challenges.
That's right.
Getting up and getting after it.
1, 2, 3, go. Okay, no, this time, seriously. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, no, I'm going to snooze for 5 minutes. I mean, that's basically my morning routine. And if I hear anybody popping off in the comments right now, I never snooze. I don't want to hear, nope, not the right time. Not the right time. Time and place, folks. Not the right time.
Do you do an alarm or no? I don't really do an alarm.
I do an alarm. I do an alarm. Because I've gone to the world. Have I told you this? Dude, you haven't been over to the house in a hot minute. I've got those Amazon devices. I can't say their names because they're all over the damn house.
Wow.
So I can't say the names. They're going to start freaking out on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use that. That's fantastic. I just tell that dude what to do. Just here, do this, and this, and then do. Here's how alarms need to set, and I need to set one to set telling me I need to get out the door in 15 minutes at 8:45. Mm-hmm. And they do that. I'm like, that's fine. So yes, I do.
Yeah. I'm trying to be consistent with my sleep. So I'm trying to go to bed between 11 and midnight, and I'll just sleep till I wake up, which is usually between 7 and 8. It's a good life for me.
Justin Cannon. There's always going to be one. Always going to be one.
Justin's that guy. Now, the question is, Justin, do you alarm or you just wake up?
No, I think he's because I told him not to. Exactly. I think that's he's being an American is what he's doing. We don't like to be told no, don't.
Yeah, but I still snooze. I'll wake up and I'm like, nah, not yet. Let's just see if I can get another half hour sleep in here. Usually doesn't work, but I try.
My girlfriend I'm not kidding, can sleep through all alarms. Like several of them as loud as possible. She's like, okay, pick me up at 9. I need to be up by 7 so I can start getting ready. Okay. So I call it 7. Call it 7:15. And I'm like, now I'm in the truck. And I'm like, okay, we got to get out of here. So I'm going to go wake you up. Literally, no. And going in, and it's like one of those clock, the cartoon clock stores. And she just.
Like Back to the Future at the very beginning scene.
Yes. Same thing. Not a thing. Oh my gosh. Calls, nothing. Not gonna work. So yeah, but I like you. The sleep regulation is cool. Outdoors is really good for that. Like if they say if you go turn it off, no clocks, no nothing, I think it's 3 days, 2 nights, 3 days, your entire sleep system will reset to exactly the way it's supposed to be. And you'll just go to sleep and wake up when you're supposed to.
It's when we moved to afternoons, when we got the afternoon show, that was like the best thing ever in 20 years I've had in my sleep life. I was like, I don't have to get up at 2:30 in the morning anymore. Yes.
And Justin said the dogs, the dogs love walking and waking them up. But here's the deal: I think all alarm clocks is the most genius thing I've heard in a hot minute. All alarm clocks should be set to the sound of a dog puking, because that will launch you out of bed. You are you are in the next room because all you hear is, and you're like, no, and you're sprinting. You're pulling 3 muscles on the way, but by God, that rug is not going to get a drop of puke on it.
Damn right.
I know.
You just got to find the right motivation. That's all it is. Dog puking. Oh.
I actually, a girl I dated in college, her mom would make a peanut butter bagel and iced coffee, and she'd put it on the dresser across the room, because when her alarm went off, she knew she can have that. But literally, she goes, that is the only thing that will get me out of bed is a peanut butter bagel and iced coffee that is across the room. I mean, you just gotta do what works for you. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I tried everything. In the morning radio life, you're getting up between 2:30 and 3:30 most days. So you try all kinds of various things. You do put the alarm on the other side of the room. But, if you're married, you're like, how much do I want to wake up my wife every day? So you have to try to figure out how to work it out. But I used to have to set 3 alarms just in case, because there were a couple times where I slept a little late and Rob was late to work.
I remember when somebody in here in the valley slept in. Not you, but someone we know. I won't name any names. And I was out hunting.
Oh, yeah.
I was out bird hunting. They called me in the morning. They're like, dude, can you get in here? We can't find him. We have no idea where he's at. I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. And then sure enough, just jumping on in there.
But I got camos and shotguns. So is that okay if I do the show in camo and I got a shotgun with me?
They know who I am. I wasn't hiding who I am. Holy mackerel. That's it. Yeah. Can I tell you the story? I went to First Friday. Y'all ever been to the First Friday? Y'all done this? No, Robbie, you done it?
Yeah, I've been once or twice or 4 times or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. This is people doing people things, and that's what I appreciate about it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's insanely eclectic, and just people just kind of doing their thing. The Communist Party of Arizona was out there because that's a thing. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to have, and they got the bullhorn, they're going nuts. I mean, but they've got these stacks of these communist, Today newspapers and all of this, and they're ready to go. They're down, and they're in mass too. So they're probably like four deep on each side of the sidewalk. I mean, you got to run the gauntlet if you want to get past these bozos. And so I decided to sit and chat with one. I'm like, let me just sit and talk to you, dude. Yeah, and I told him right up. I'm like, dude, I spent years as a conservative talk show host, so I want to ask questions. I want to know why you guys are so passionate about this. And look at this guy over here on the bullhorn. He's literally screaming. So obviously he's excited about communism. So let's talk. And so I started asking just very nice, easy questions. I'm like, well, tell me the difference between, okay, we're communists today. How is it different than today? And I get the whole, leadership has failed us. It needs to be a government by the people, for the people. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get that. And that's rad that you say that. The people really need to be in power. And I'm like, okay, I get you. I hear you. I said, now who runs the place? And I said, I'm asking, I was being so sweet. I'm like, now who runs the place? Oh, well, there's going to be people that are appointed to run certain things, but they're going to be appointed by the people. I go, essentially to represent the people. So we pick someone to represent a large swath of people. Yes. Okay, good. Like a representative republic kind of thing. And he's like, yeah. Like, good, perfect. Now I know what I'm dealing with. At this moment, I'm like, good. Now I know where I am. This poor kid. And he was sweet. I was trying to be nice. I really was sincerely being nice. So my girlfriend comes running and she's like, the kids are going this way. Come on, we need to go. And she thought I was getting in a fight with the guy. I'm like, no, I swear I was being sweet. So I'm like, okay, hey man, listen, I got to go. And hand to God, I can't make this up, Rob. I said, give me one. He had a stack of newspapers. I said, I'll take one of your newspapers, dude. I'll reach out to you guys and maybe I'll have you guys on a podcast or something like that. And we can really talk this thing out and see it. And he goes, oh, no. You can't. Cause I grabbed one. He's like, oh, no. He took it back. He goes, we're selling those for $5. And I look at him and I go, you mean capitalism?
Yeah.
And I just walked away. I'm like, it was the perfect ending to it. Could not have ended better than that, than the kid saying, oh no, we're selling those for $5.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Totally believable. Well, and this is funny too, because I was just in Miami and I took a couple of ride shares. One of them was a guy from Cuba. Miami is mostly Latino.
Hell yeah.
You hear a lot more Spanish than you do English, at least in certain parts of Miami.
In a damn cool town.
Actually, I didn't like Miami until this trip. I stayed in this neighborhood called Brickell, which is awesome. It's a walkable, a lot of high rises right there on the water. It's cool. Gorgeous. Yeah. So this guy he's like, I'm very excited because most of the people I pick up speak Spanish, so I can't practice my English. It's like, he's been here for a number of years and he left Cuba. And I said, okay, so what was it like in Cuba? He's like, bro, we have nothing. Nothing. There is nothing. There's no jobs. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing that you can do. He's like, I got my kids here. I love this country. I love this place. I love Miami. And he was the second guy that I ran into. The first guy was from Colombia, and he said the same thing. I was like, well, okay, what was it like growing up in Colombia? He's like, there's no opportunities. There's nowhere for you to advance your career or your life, at least where I was. So I came here to Miami, and I found a little Colombian circle that I hang out with, and they welcomed me in, and he's been there 3 years, and he loves it because those kids should go to Cuba and see what a real Cuban lives like. And they'll realize real quickly they don't really like the idea of communism.
No, wait, whoa. We're talking about democratic communism, democratic socialism, right? That's what, yeah. So
if Obama runs it, it'll be better.
That was the right thing to do. Been pushing for this for years.
I mean, healthcare is
I thought getting Sleepy Joe there would be the way to go.
Perfect right now. I'm glad that Obama fixed all our healthcare problems in this country. Totally worked out great.
I want those days of my life back where I read that stupid bill. That was right when I was getting into this gig, and I was like, I thought that's what you had to do. You had to read the entire piece. Forget.
Especially that one was like 2,000 pages.
It was at the time it was 1,600.
Oh, okay.
And it's cool because they do 2-inch margins on each side, so it really isn't that bad. I mean, it really isn't that much. I mean, you shrink it down, it's about 500-600 pages, but yeah.
Still.
Nope. Never do it again. Never do it. I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to do that anyway.
Well, that's the other part. When you do read the bills, how wonky they are. And you're like, I don't know what this means. Writ Satori this or what.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you guys are just now doing this on purpose. You're making up your own language to confuse people and keep people down.
Yeah, like John Oliver said. He said, you want to pass something nefarious, put it in something boring. That's why legislation is written how it is. He said, you could put the entire text of Mein Kampf in the iTunes user agreement and everybody would sign. Yep, click, done. Yep, got it. All right, let's go. Got to get me my Macklemore.
You mean the rapper Macklemore?
Yes, I do, because Macklemore has a new video that dropped today. How about that? Macklemore joined in with the protesters. Watch out, there is 2 F-bombs. I'm just going to throw it out there, guys. Relax. It's okay. We're all grown-ups here. We're going to get through it. It's all good. Here we go. Macklemore.
Posted on the lawn, occupying the quad is really against the law. And a reason to call in the police and their squad. Where does genocide land in your definition, huh? Destroying every college in Gaza and every mosque. Pushing everyone into Rafah and dropping bombs. The blood is on your hands, Biden, we can see it all. And fuck no, I'm not voting for you in the fall. Undecided, you can't twist the truth, the people out here united. Never be defeated when freedom's on the horizon. Yet the music industry's quiet, complicit in their platform of silence. What happened to the...
Yeah, it goes on. But the blank you, Biden, I'm not voting for you in the fall is very telling. You know, you're thinking about this. He's like, you think these are a bunch of just rubber stamps for the Democrat Party. These people are turning on the Democrat Party. These people are turning on their choice. Turning quickly. It's going to be an interesting convention for the DNC if this
comes up. I can't wait because that's awesome. All kinds of reminiscent of 1968 when the anti-Vietnam War protests showed up in mass and helped Richard Nixon get elected. And that's what I really think is happening here. I think that there are some provocateurs out there. Maybe Macklemore is one of them that actually wants Trump to win, because then they can go do whatever it is that they want to do, whether it's riot, cause problems, send the Democrat Party a message, whatever it is that they're trying to do. But the question is it real? Because it sounds great right now. But since all these people really supposedly are so terrified of a man named Donald Trump and what he's going to mean to the end of democracy, can they actually sit there in the voting booth or in their homes before they mail in their ballots and check a name not named Joe Biden? I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay. But Macklemore was part of the F Donald Trump song too.
Yes, he was.
Remember, it was all the stuff Donald Trump was going to do, and absolutely the opposite happened in every single way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to start all these World War III. Let's get to those protests, by the way, on college campuses around the nation. Now, I believe Columbia, Harvard, and NYU. There's two more universities that are demanding the demands are now being met. Demanded. Demands are being demanded. Right there we go. Got that? Okay. The demands are being demanded that they cancel finals and everyone be given an A. They said passing grade. Let's be real. In A, and in most of those schools, there's not a kid in there that hadn't. The passing grade means A. So, that you get an A because of. Are you ready for this? The trauma that they have experienced at the hands of law enforcement. Here are those students now, suffering, completely suffering.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually had a kid I was talking about I was talking to from Ohio State today, and he said that he goes at Ohio State.
I'm sorry, the Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah.
Don't forget the
OH.
Yeah, don't forget the.
So the Ohio State. He said that it's crazy. The protests there were just absolutely nuts. Let's talk about Ohio, for the love of grief. They were nuts. He goes when the cops would come in, they would drop to their knees and face whatever direction Muslims face. I don't know. What do you know? Which direction they
towards
face?
Mecca.
Right?
You face
towards Mecca. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They would drop, and I'm sure they got it wrong. I'm positive they got the direction wrong, and just start praying, so the cops couldn't move them. I'm like, these little punks. And you know something? It's great because that's why the quasi ceasefire that was supposed to be agreed upon, it was all because of the campus protests.
Totally.
Every bit of it. Totally. 100%.
Because you sat in a tent. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rafah was invaded this morning by Israel or whatever.
Oh, so it didn't. It wasn't.
It was no.
They're not listening.
Here's what is. There's so many obvious things about this because many of these are pandemic kids that probably missed out on their high school graduation. So they're probably ticked off about the world and probably spent 3 years only online and convinced themselves that them staying in a tent or going in the quad, dancing around, as we just saw, somehow solves problems. Mm-hmm. So there's just so much in this that showcases the big change. Like, what happened to parents? What happened to a college leader saying, all right, kids, it's time to act like an adult. So I'm going to treat you like an adult, and I'm going to kick you off the campus and kick you out of school. And then you and all your privilege can come crying back to me later, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you have a right to protest. You also have a right to fail my damn class.
Damn right.
There you go.
Stand up.
You get to choose one.
That's what they need. These kids, for their own development, need somebody to lead them and stand up to them and not be like, yeah, you're right. No. Remember that whole thing 80 years ago, the Nazis? Yes, we're not going to let history repeat itself. I am calling out all the anti-Semitic language, all the anti-Semitic fervor that has hit college campuses, but they won't do it.
Well, look at Mao Zedong. That's how he came to power, was college protests. He used the college students.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember. Those that don't know the history are doomed to repeat it.
And you think about what has happened with these college campus kids, like the Mao model. There's these left-wing organizations that have come in and told them what to do, told them to pray when the police show up because the police then are powerless and can't do anything. Use this slogan instead of that slogan. Say this instead of that. Because the media, the traditional media, always falls into this trap. They go right on the college campuses and they start interviewing college kids who have no idea what they're talking about, don't understand the complexity of the Israel-Palestine situation, but that becomes part of the propaganda. So the ironic part about these kids who think that they're making a difference, they're being used by provocateurs.
Yeah. By sign makers, essentially. Yeah, it's magical that, I mean, you would think that what was that guy's name? Robert Francis O'Rourke. His wife had a sign company, and that's where all of his campaign money went, is to making signs. Shocking. Triple the price, by the way. Maybe she's out there making signs for everybody, because they're all matching, they're all professional done. It's somebody's funding it. So yeah, they're definitely being used. And it's funny that Bill Maher actually did bring this up, because he actually said his greatest accomplishment in life is not spawning. He said his contribution to society was not adding to society. And one of the things he brought, my poor son was here for the week, and God love him, because I like Bill Maher changed the way I parent. And I'm like, you're right. Damn it, they're not our peers. Why am I talking to this kid like he's my apologize? Why am I going to apologize to my kid? I'm not going to apologize to my kid. And there was a time where I thought at one point the next day where I was like, I should probably. No, I'm not going to apologize to my kid. Because these kids, these snot-nosed little punks, have been raised by parents that have constantly apologized for being parents to them. I can't tell you how many times I've been lectured about being tough on the kids. Okay, cool. That's a compliment. Yeah. But
I don't know where that changed, and I don't know how big that the change is, because I see your kids, Mike, and I'm like, all right, they're normal kids in the Russell way, right? Normal in that way, but they're not thinking that, okay, if I just go storm the campus building, break windows, there will be peace in Israel and Palestine. They've been disciplined. They know sarcasm. They have thick skin. They're good little, becoming adults. So I don't know where the percentage is, if it's 20% of these kids, 50% of the kids. I'm not sure. But it's big enough where it's obvious that if nothing is done to toughen these kids up, oh boy, it's going to be fun when they're 40.
No. It's going to be sad when they're 40 is what it is.
Although your kids have great opportunities for success, because if the percentage, let's say it's 50% of kids think this way, Palestine bought this idea that America sucks. If you are one of these kids right now that just has a work ethic, you'll be way more successful than 50% of your peers.
No, and I did. Dana White said that. Dana White said, he goes, I tell my kids, if you are the smallest bit savage, just the most tiny bit savage, you're going to run the table on these little punks that just, they hear the word Trump and they drop into a fetal position and start crying for their safe space. And if you are just at all, just a little bit of savage in you, like I'm going to work hard and do something, you're going to run the table. You absolutely are going to run the table, because there's just no excuses and nobody's going to help you. Government sure is not going to help you.
Well, and I think that's what it really gets down to, is that for those kids that just understand how life is, right? You go to school, public education, private school, whatever it is that you do. At 12th grade, you make a decision. What are you going to do then? You're going to go to college, you're going to go to a trade school, you're going to learn a trade. And then when you make that decision, it's off and running. Kind of how the world works, right? It works around this capitalist concept where you fit in, you find your groove, and you try to make a go at it. So I don't know if you're 20 years old now and you're spending $125,000 a year on an education. Oof. And you don't want to take your finals because you're quote unquote traumatized by something that has nothing to do with you. You're traumatized by words that have nothing to do with your life. You have lived the most advantaged life a human being has ever lived, and you're traumatized by a word. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do in 5 years, in 7 years, when the rest of the world doesn't care, when the dean of students is not a waffle, when the person in your HR department doesn't care that you have not shown up to work for 5 days because you heard the word Trump? What's going to happen?
I don't think we're too far. I don't think we're too far away. I really don't think we're too far away from a waffle actually being the dean of anything. Is because why not? No, it's a waffle. Look at it, it's what it stands for and all of this. Yeah, I don't know, Shane. What are you doing today, buddy? I don't know. I might go to Costco.
Nice.
I don't know. Maybe a little later. Got some social media stuff to do, but I appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that was meant for us. Now you might have seen. I don't know if you caught any of the weekend shows, but there was a weekend show that had to do with Maxine Waters as a guest. There you go. That's really all you need, because they're the only ones stupid enough to put someone crazy as Maxine Waters on their programming. Said that she is contacting the FBI, the intelligence community, and the Department of Justice and the Department of Defense, because she believes that there are people training in the hills to disrupt our democracy if Trump loses this election. Training in the hills. So leave it to the power of the new press to ask her.
Congresswoman. Hello, how are you? Pretty good. What evidence do you have that Trump supporters are quote unquote like hanging out in the hills, getting ready to attack democracy, like what you said on MSNBC?
Sorry, what'd you say?
You said on MSNBC the other day that Trump supporters were hanging out in the hills, getting ready to attack our democracy?
Yes.
What evidence of that do you have?
Well, someone called me who said he was a part of it and was mad at me because I found out about it.
But like, can you present some evidence?
Because to kill me, and
as someone from MAGA country saying we're all
somebody threatened to told her about it, just part of it, and then threatened to kill her if she reported on it. So that's why it's such a threat. That's why she immediately reported on it. What a lunatic. And by the way, yeah, maybe there are 4 or 5 people. Let's say there's 10 people up in the hills training to take over if Trump loses. You want to bet 6 of them are feds.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Y'all, the 8 people that were plotting to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, 5 of the 8 were federal agents. Yeah, don't give me this.
Well, look at that.
They probably are, and they're all run by the damn feds.
And the pattern is that this is what the federal government does. Most of the terrorism arrests that you heard about over the last 20 years were people the FBI got involved in and helped forward the plot on. It was just like me trying to do a terrorist plot. I don't know where to get anything that's going to do any harm, nor to any of these people that came to America and don't like it. They're like, all right, all of a sudden I'm an angry Muslim. Okay, cool. We can entice this guy and entrap this guy because he said he wanted to blow something up. Oh, well, look, here's a bomb. We know how to get you a bomb. A lot of those arrests are fake. Why? Because there were stories that terrorists were in the hills throughout 2021 and 2001 and 2002, all the way up till like last week. The terrorists are around the corner. It's always the threat of something that the government puts out there to try to freak you out. And it was not that long ago. It was probably like 6 years ago or 7 years ago. Judicial Watch, which is, they call themselves a watchdog. Sometimes they do good work. Sometimes their work is crap.
Their FOIA, they probably put through 100 FOIA requests a day.
Yeah, Freedom of Information Act, which is great. It's noble. But they put out something 6 or 7 years ago that said Hamas was operating in Mexico within view of the United States. And I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, exactly.
There they are.
Exactly.
Got
right. And it's these types of things that always are meant to try to get you to fear, which, by the way, Mike, let's go to airport security just for a second, because airport security, we kind of get, right? It's all a ruse. It's meant to make it seem like we're keeping you safe. However, good news, bad news. Good news. I saw a very nice interaction from a TSA agent that his name is George at Sky Harbor here in Phoenix.
Okay.
Helped an old man get up and get out of his chair. It was very overly nice. I was like, wow, TSA has an agent who is really big on customer service. But the downside is the Department of Homeland Security through the TSA takes your picture every time you go on a flight now. Got to stand there in front of a little camera. They take a little picture, match it up to your ID and say, okay. Now, Mike, they tell you.
Shut up.
They tell you that they're going to delete this photo. But do you believe it?
And Snapchat doesn't have that nude pic I sent 8 years ago accidentally.
Exactly.
Holy, no way. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere?
let's see. Oh man, I don't even know how many airports I've flown in and out of. I think everyone, even Fort Lauderdale, where I flew out of yesterday, which is a smaller airport, they have it. It's everywhere. And when you do customs, same thing. Customs is now a picture, and it looks at you, it matches you up. Facial recognition is here. It's being used by the government. And I always love this. It's like driving. Driving's a privilege, not a right. Oh, be quiet.
It is.
I get it. But that doesn't mean the government should be able to restrict every single part of it. Same with flying. Well, you don't have a right to get on an airplane, so we have a right to violate the Constitution. I just don't buy that. I just think that all the way around, our right should be protected, whether it's a privilege or a right.
I'd get fingerprinted professionally to get silencers.
Mm-hmm. Did you have to do like the old school, or is it like a digital version?
Now it's digital. Now it's kind of cool. Yeah. And then it was photo on top of photo. And then it was like, okay, guys, I have them. Yeah. Okay. I'm a bad guy now.
Exactly.
I'm a bad guy now.
Exactly. But this is it. Because all it is now is just metadata, as they call it. So now the government is very well aware that, Rob Hunter has traveled quite a bit over the last 6-7 months. What's he up to? Why is he flying here? It must be.
Damn terrorist.
Must be.
And speaking of meta, did you see Mark Zuckerberg's $300 million yacht launch yesterday?
Oh, I did not.
It's a nice boat.
I'm sure it's
nice little boat you got here, Zuck. Wow, stealing things works. Who knew theft worked like this? Amazing.
This is so funny because there's so many of these, like our generation, Mike. There's a lot of guys like around our age, a little bit younger. Right? I don't know how old Zuckerberg is. Maybe he's 38, maybe he's 40. There's a bunch of people who made a bunch of money in tech, and they're like middle-aged now and have no idea what to do. So Mark Zuckerberg's building a yacht, building a nuclear bunker in his Hawaiian property that he colonized all the land on that he bought. Yeah. He is going into jujitsu or whatever, challenging Elon Musk to a fight because he's bored. And there's so many of them now that want to be talk show hosts. So they take their money and they spend it boosting themselves in the algorithm, trying to be Mike and me, basically. Because they're the algorithm. Yes. And they're bored. It's rather fascinating to watch.
And you become stupid. And you become absolutely stupid. By the way, it's an arc. And I'm telling you that late age liberalism is part of that arc. It's part of that stupidity. It just is. You think of the arc. The arc is simple. You go to college and you're all like these bozos bouncing around and wearing things that they don't even know what the scarf is they're wearing, but they're going to wear it while wearing masks. You're stupid. You're an idiot. Your brain is not developed yet. Okay. And you're a liberalist, damn the man and all Democrats and social programs. Then you realize the social programs don't work. So you're going to have to go get a job now. So you go get a job. You use your the degree that you just got from this fine establishment to make yourself a barista. Then you get your first check and you're like, wait, who's this FICA dude? Wait, what do y'all take? Wait, no, I worked this many hours. Wait, what are you talking about? That's not voluntary. I don't just sign over something. Okay. And then you start becoming conservative. And then you have a family. You're a little more protective about your kids. You're a little more protective about DC. You get a lot more conservative. It's this art. And then you start to build if you can. You start to build some sort of wealth that can help you retire. Then once you've made all your money and paid all your taxes, then you go right back to the stupid farm up at the beginning and go, social programs, that's right. Healthcare should be a right. Because you've done paying your taxes. You're done. You don't have to pay into that system. Now all of a sudden, everything's about fairness and everybody should have everything and everybody should be, let's go socialism. Yay. Because you can't take from me. It's that serious. And same with the billionaires. Like look at Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban has probably hid more in taxes than everyone listening to this program will ever make in their life combined. But he has to go through the virtue signaling of, I just wired $255 million to the IRS because paying my fair share is patriotic. Pound sand, dude. Pound sand. How about the people that can't afford $255 million, can't afford a $255 grocery bill, you asshat?
Well, and
you've turned into a moron.
And think about the opposite of that, because I would think that a guy that has that much money, Mark Cuban, that owns the Dallas Mavericks, that whatever he did in his background,
broadcast.com,
would say, if I'm going to give you $255 million, I want an ROI on that. The fact that he's just willingly giving $255 million, okay, great. That's the law. But I would say, I wish this money were better spent by politicians and bureaucrats in Washington that actually would benefit people so they could get help with their $255 grocery bill from buying 4 pounds of chicken.
Right. And
by the way, I put chicken back the other day because it was too. I couldn't believe the price of it. It was, organic chicken, and I was like, "I'm sorry, how much is it for a pound and a half of chicken? It's $21." Nope, I'm not buying that.
I actually have. Oh my gosh, did you see the? I think it was Barstool that posted the concession prices from the F1, the big F1 race. How much is a lobster roll, Rob?
Oh, an F1. I'm going to guess $75.
$280.
Does it come with like gold?
Not kidding. Did it? Yeah, exactly. Which one? Never mind. I'm going to get us in trouble. Okay, but seriously, I mean, but yes, but it goes back to so Mark Cuban. I'm going to pay this. I'm vice president of an organization called Wildlife for Tomorrow. It's the fundraising arm of Game and Fish Department. We help raise money for them for on the ground stuff that they're not allowed to by state law because they're a government agency, can't spend money on. So they need our help. We step in and do that. So we can do it all legally above the books. There's something called restricted and unrestricted funds. If I donate to my organization, I can say, I want these funds restricted. They need to go to this thing. So it doesn't go to admin. It doesn't go to anything. It goes to this. I want this project. This money goes to this project. You're the pass-through. Make that happen, right? Same thing with Mark Cuban. That's the way it should be. $255 million. I want these restricted funds. I want these restricted. They need to go to this, and this. Now, don't worry, it's government. They'll screw it up, but at least it'll make whoever's writing stroking the check and feel a lot better about it. I mean, look at Elon Musk on a budget of $9.8 billion has put over 100 whatevers into orbit. Okay, $9.8 billion. California just finished 1,600 feet of a cement bridge at the cost of $11 billion. Let that sink in. That's absolutely blinding to me. And it's just so telling. I mean, what was that? Supposed to be a speed train from LA to Barstow or something like that? Still not done?
Where everyone wants to go. Barstow, California. I've been there.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed since about 1975.
Yeah, it's like Cuba.
It is like
you go, there's all the old cars and stuff. You're like, what the hell happened here? I feel like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. Save the clock tower. Yeah.
If you don't have to go all the way back to real 1955, you just have to go to Barstow, California. It's totally fine.
Or Cuba. Give it a try.
Yeah. I mean, Cuba seems fun, except there's nothing to eat and do. But if you got money, it's probably great. You got island resorts. So this is one of the more frustrating things, because you would think a government that spends $5 trillion would get better results. You'd think that anyone spending $5 trillion would get better results. It's like, you ever been to a restaurant that's maybe a pricey restaurant, and you sit down and you order your food, and people have told you about this restaurant, and you think it's going to be the greatest thing ever, and you're like, awesome. I know it's expensive, but they say it's worth it. But then it's mediocre.
Yeah.
And you drop $220 on dinner plus a couple drinks, and you're like, That's just dinner. Imagine that being trillions of those dinners every day, not quite getting up to the quality that you expect.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if we scour the list of things the government does well, we could probably find a few things. But mostly we know that everything is overpriced, right? What was the $90,000 bag of things the Pentagon bought?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, they cost $150 on Amazon. Yeah,
exactly. It's that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. That I would think that more of us would care about, but it just does not seem that we do. And for a guy who's probably one of the top taxpayers out there, Mark Cuban, to just say the system's fine, that's the fallacy of it all.
Yeah, that's the stupidity of it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like acting like Shark Tank isn't a complete setup. Oh, magically, I got $100,000 for you. Just a business that I've heard 30 seconds about. Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, it's not.
These guys make just quick decisions.
Holy, I'm telling you, I'm all about that. The problem to me with the entire system of taxing the rich can be, I think, highlighted and illustrated with the new proposal from the White House with the new budget, with 44.5% capital gains tax. And then in there, by the way, because everybody was too freaked out about that whole capital gains tax nonsense, was 25% unrealized gains tax. So those of us that bought at the bottom of the market have $400,000 in equity in your home. I get a bill for $100,000. Where am I getting that at? I don't know. This is just a house. It's not an ATM. It's a house. But it's that kind of thing. Like, oh, don't worry. We're not going to go over people that only make them under $1 million. That's the fine print. My tookus.
Well, that's what they said about the income tax. Oh, it's only going to be for a small percentage of people. Don't you worry about it, America. It's fine. We don't love taxes and taking your money and wasting it and giving it to our friends, because all Washington, D.C. is, all politics is, all the fighting that we do, it's always about money. It's a washing machine. They take your money and give it to their friends who donate to their campaign, so they stay where they are. That's the only thing you need to know ever about Washington and about money and how they spend yours. Give it to people who will help them stay there. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, no, buddy, I interrupted you. If you want to become wealthy quick, I'm not wealthy, pretty rich. I go by the Chris Rock definition of wealthy and rich. The difference. He said, Shaq is rich. The man who writes Shaq's checks is wealthy. Yeah. He said, here you go, Shaq. Go buy one of those bouncing cars. Yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that. Where was I going with that, dog? The rich wealth, whatever.
Shaq, rich, money.
I don't know
wealthy,
what you were talking
rich.
about.
Yeah. So you can go and you can become rich by going to Washington, I think is what
that's how you do it. Okay, here's the deal. Donate heavily to a Democrat candidate. Donate heavily. Hold on. Donate heavily to a Democrat deal, and then start a Save the Homeless organization. It is the biggest moneymaker there is right now in government. It's bigger than COVID. California, LA County alone has spent $100 million to end homelessness. It has doubled since they started it. Everyone is there making money on it. That is the biggest money-making venture you can have right now, is to save the homeless.
Saving them, all right. They're saving their way to their Lamborghinis and Ferraris that they have in their backyards. People that are.
How else are you going to survey downtown, homeless? You got to be in your Benz.
We got to be low to the ground so you can see, make sure you know what people are going through. How many rich people, we know that the billionaires were made, the people that own stock in Pfizer, these executives with the pandemic. How many other health agencies popped up to help you get vaccinated or to help you get a test? How much bank did those?
What was that? There was a group that was doing it. It started with some women's something. What was that? The testing joint.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Emory Women's Health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there were like all these tests that have never even been tested, just laying around on the floor, and why not?
Yeah, there was one that was a couple, I think, that literally bought a Ferrari. They were not doing tests, but they bought a Ferrari and they had a huge house.
Yeah. People optics. Just call Rob or myself. We can, or both of us, and we can help you with the optics of your silliness. If you want to get away with something, just we'll help you. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
We're getting cut in. Don't kid yourself. We are getting cut in. So absolutely. Every now and again, just because I love him and he's the little brother I never wanted. Rob and I have been hanging out a hot minute. I know anytime I want to make Rob happy, I expose the absolute utter racism of the Democrat Party. I give you the governor of the great state of New York. Well, half of it's a great state of New York. Kathy Hochul.
Black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
Because black kids don't know what the word computer means. All right.
Do they have cell phones?
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Yes.
Rob.
So this is what I was talking about before. DEI initiatives are meant to make white executives look good. Imagine that white executive is the governor of New York. So here she is, the great white hope, the great white savior coming on in saying, I know how to fix the challenges in my state. Poverty that impacts minorities, people from other cultures. They don't even know what the word computer means. What?
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Just about everyone has one of these. This is a computer. Okay. So for her to say that, again, just exposes the reality that I wish conservatives, Republicans running for office would have the audacity to point out that you want to talk about economies. This is the most racist part. In fact, I was just talking to someone about this weekend, about injustice. And this was a progressive Democrat that I was talking to. But where we arrived is that the economy of keeping people poor through people like Kathy Hochul is exactly what Mike mentioned, right? So the Democrats will have a donor that has a program that will introduce the word computer to inner city kids in New York, the Bronx. And that person will make a ton of money, funnel it through, and nothing will ever change because nothing has ever changed because there is an economy to keep people where they're at, because that economy is also part of our voting system, and the Democrats need that big block of votes or they cannot win elections. So, of course, they're racist. Racist in the sense they feel particularly black voters are subservient to them and so stupid they don't even know what computer means.
Let's go ahead and cross-reference those biggest stakeholders in the hip-hop record industry and the stakeholders in the private prison industry. Go ahead and cross-reference the names. You got them. It's fine. It's what it is. It's an economy of keeping people down. Rob is in line with a group that is all about physical fitness, all about health, and in training your body to do weird things like beat up on tires. I kid. So that's damn tire. Where's my sledgehammer? That's not CrossFit. I kid. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this because this is something that struck me. And again, I probably got a good 10, 15 to lose, and I understand that. But listen to this.
Fat people because you just happen to view fatness as neutral but not be particularly attracted to it. Fine. That's a preference.
Okay. Well, hey, you're fine. Hey, listen, if you're just not attracted to it, okay, cool. Rock on. You see so much large people here.
If you don't date fat people because you think being fat means that they are gross, lazy, live an unhealthy lifestyle, or are embarrassing to be seen with in public, that's fat phobic.
Okay, can we pick one or two and not be fat phobic, or do we have to have all three? Do you have to run the table? That's my question. Do you have to run the entire table, or can you just pick one? You're leading an unhealthy lifestyle. I think that is 100% true. Again, I could lose some weight. I'm not fat shaming people, but to say you are as large as this woman here and saying she lives a healthy lifestyle is lying to yourself. So I can say she lives an unhealthy lifestyle, but does that make me phobic? I guess
But to insist your preference is for people who aren't lazy, sloppy, and disgusting and unhealthy.
Oh.
Meaning that means you prefer skinny people because all fat people are those other things.
Wow.
That's actually bigoted.
We're just going straight to the B word. We're just going straight to bigoted right there. Wow.
It's not. But see, this is okay. This is a product of this system. Let's talk about this system. We've talked about it, Mike, that it used to be like the Lyft drivers that I was with, immigrants who moved to this country, countries that have nothing, and appreciate the fact that they have a car, appreciate that they can drive around, they have money coming in, they have kids to raise, they have like a family, and they get to do all these things in America. But there's that other side. We've taught our own kids that America's awful. Mike, remember when we went to D.C. and all those museums, the Smithsonian's, all white guilt, white guilt, white guilt, white guilt. It is like obsessive.
Bad.
This is what it produces. It produces this atmosphere, this environment that it's okay to make excuses for yourself and just to redefine the word bigot to suit anything that you need because someone said something mean to you or negative to you, or you're having trouble dating because maybe you think everything's bigoted and nobody wants to sit down and listen to you diagnose them psychologically every 5 minutes, because that's another thing everyone seems to be doing. Everyone seems to assume that everyone else is a narcissist. It's like, everyone relax. Okay. It's just real life. If you're having trouble dating, I'm sorry. maybe work on yourself a little bit and figure that out instead of calling everyone else who doesn't want to date you a name because it makes you
or
feel
hey,
better.
look, seriously, or just sit a few plays out. You don't have to have a mate right now. Just sit a few plays out and wait for the right person to come along that digs ugly people. I don't care, whatever.
Yeah, look, you live life. You live life how you want to live life. I don't care. It's your life. But if you think that because I participate in a different life that I'm something, I have to have a label, you're the one that is doing it incorrectly, not me.
Yeah, did you see that? I think it was might have been the last couple of days, that 700 pounder, and I think New York died. And they I mean, the first responders and the heavy machinery that it took to hoist that human body out of the bed through the window of probably 6-7 stories and bring that thing down was just absolutely absurd. So what am I fat phobic if I go, yeah, that dude didn't have a good lifestyle? Am I fat phobic? Is my daughter fat phobic if she said I wouldn't date that guy? Why? Because he's gigantic, he's lazy, and he's this, whatever. Okay. I don't, why does that have to be? Doesn't mean I'm afraid of fat people. I don't get that. I got some chunk. I'm not afraid of myself.
Look, there's some good looking women that I wouldn't date. It has nothing to do with the weight necessarily. Some people are just not for me. Just like I'm not for some people. Like, it's okay. I have to call you a name. Dang.
But I don't, but here's the deal. I don't have to hang out with you and want to date you.
Exactly.
I can hang out with you if you're fat and we can still hang out. It's cool. I don't, what is it? I'm fat phobic because I don't want to get with you. Yeah, sorry.
Thing, right?
I'm not into it.
Fear.
No.
What's the fear? Exactly. I don't have any fear.
That's like transphobe. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Bill Mahr, by the way, Bill Mahr said something about trans fats. He goes, oh, if I say that again, I'm going to get canceled like Chappelle. You just can't even say trans.
I know.
Trans fats. You're not allowed to say trans.
Unless you are queer for Palestine.
Oh,
that's a whole different thing.
Are we going there? Okay, before we get to the comments, I had something that I saw this morning that was funny, and I think we should wrap our little Taco Tuesday nooner with this gem from what is now becoming a documentary, Idiocracy.
So who are you?
I'm the Secretary of Energy.
I won a contest, got to be a cabinet member. I'm the Secretary of State. Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because they pay me every time I do. It's a really good way to make money. You're so smart, why don't you know that? The Secretary of Defense. Huh? And fun bags over there is the Attorney General.
And that's Secretary of Education.
It's kind of stupid, but President Camacho's stepbrother still does a pretty good job.
It is all coming together. Yes, it was. I'm telling you, 1984 and Idiocracy are blending and becoming exactly what we are becoming as a nation.
Yep. And right down to the facial recognition at the airport that the government swears they are not keeping. I don't want to know where you're going, and I don't want to keep track of you now.
Remember when we learned about the NSA? Remember that? Oh, they're not listening to no, not all phone calls. No, just Verizon. And if you're on Verizon and you're a terrorist, then that's what we're doing. We're going to record your calls because it's the right thing to do.
Right thing to do. And we haven't got any terrorists yet, though. Still haven't got any terrorists.
And AT&T. And Sprint. T-Mobile. Yeah. So, we do it all. Yeah. But it's okay because Snowden came out and said, by the way, they're listening to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. The good news is there's so many conversations in text, they can't keep up with it all. However, artificial intelligence can.
I talked to a buddy today. His dad is a principal at a high school. And he said, the teachers are now grading papers with AI. So if you see this intersection here, the kids are writing everything with AI. And it's being graded by AI. It's AI on AI. Dang. Nobody's learning anything.
Nope. Yep. Okay. We're going backwards. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
My son, his volleyball season's over. So he's like, Dad, I want to get a job. That's right. Good job, Dad. Yeah. So he said, I want to get a job. And I said, okay, let's get your resume put together, and we'll apply for at least let's do this. Let's make a goal for apply for 5 jobs a day. And he's like, okay, it's so good. I was like, okay, let's get that resume together. The kid came back. I'm giving him a break and saying 5 minutes later, and say, here you go. I go, what the hell is this? He goes, Chat GPT, Dad. Son, and it was a good resume. And I said, son. Oh man. I said, son, you have to. I'm begging you to understand that you're going to be applying against other applicants that are going to have an identical resume because they're all doing the same thing. Stand out, my man.
Exactly. Plus, you don't want to give false hope about yourself because AI thinks you're amazing. And then you have to be amazing. Like if you're like, oh my God, it's the greatest resume, you better be able to live up to that amazing resume, or they're going to look at that resume and they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, oh, this guy's a fraud. He used Chat GPT for his resume, and now he's a fraud. He can't even do the job. I'm not saying that.
And before I finish out your order, sir, the guy on fries right there won a Nobel Prize for curing cancer. Yeah, we're so glad to have him. We're just so glad to have him.
Yeah, he just said he wanted something to do in his off time between saving the world. He's bagging groceries.
No, he didn't even know that was on his resume. Like, wait, I cured cancer?
I did?
Wait, what?
Huh?
ChatGPT said I did it. Did it all myself.
Yep.
All right, let's get to these comments and get the heck up out of here on this nooner. Yes. Oh, thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. I think my Kamala Harris is not as good as Rob Hunter's. I think Rob's got a better Kamala than I do.
Kamala.
That Drew
in the third person.
Did you hear that stupid Drew Barrymore interview with her?
No, unfortunately.
Oh my God. Can all of us call you Mama? Done. Just done and done and done. There was something here I wanted to get into. Somebody mentioned it about when you scan your cards at the store.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the booze. The booze comment.
Yeah, do y'all know who runs that, though? Do y'all runs those cards? Like, you think that Nielsen used to do ratings for TV and radio, and that was it. The Nielsen ratings, Nielsen ratings are out. They're like, ain't no money in this nonsense anymore. That's it. Every time you scan it, boop. Nielsen tells Fry's or Kroger or Albertsons or Bash's, or is Bash's still open? Anyway, tells them Mike likes to buy things at this eye level. Mike likes to buy things in these aisles, and he shops at this time. And he had this coupon that he got from this thing. There's so much more money in that than there is. So when you're like, oh, I'm going to do this for fuel points, which God bless it, I'm the guiltiest of the guilty. I am a Jedi for fuel points. I have to be because I drive a 35-gallon freaking tank truck. I understand. I'm giving, so I get. But what I'm giving information. I'm not getting 70 cents off the chips. The chips were marked up 70 cents, and I'm not getting 70 cents off. I'm giving them information so I can actually afford a tank of gas without taking a second on the house.
And it's worth the trade-off because prices are insane. But this is the other understanding behind this, that marketing agencies and political agencies through the years have spent billions of dollars on psychological studies.
Yeah.
To learn how to manipulate you, essentially. So you have to figure out how you get yourself out of manipulatable states. Fear is the big one the media uses. And if you go on drudgereport.com and just look, a perfect example of fear-driven headlines that make you want to click, oh my God, World War III starting today. That's the tactic, right? Because it taps into the fear center of you, and you're like, oh my God, I need to know about this. Oh my God, I need to keep myself safe. And when it comes to marketing, like in the supermarket, they know your time, and Mike, they know you're doing it for fuel points. So they're like, you should spend some more money here because
dude, I'm all about the fuel points.
Yeah,
I'm all about the fuel points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But here's the deal. I've just let go of the handle because it just is what it is. I really have let go of the handles.
That's all you can do. You just gotta pick your way to ride, right? Like, I'm gonna kind of shape this how I can.
Yeah. And Rob, have we talked since B-Gate? We haven't talked since B-Gate. Yeah. You didn't know the Major League Baseball and bees?
Oh, we have not
Bee
talked
baptized?
about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
got-
did
we
see
got-
that the Diamondbacks, murdered all those bees, and we have a bee shortage.
Here's the funny thing is that our buddy Santos from Suntan Honey Farm, I call him up the next morning. I wanted to have him on the Go Show, and he goes, oh, dude, he goes, I just got a call from one of the Little League baseball players. They actually had the same thing happening right now. I'm going to go show you how to do that. I'm going to go show you how to fix that.
Sweet.
That's pretty rad.
That is rad.
He said, yeah. So he says hi, by the way.
Nice.
And he said, do you want to wear a bee suit like you did last time? I go, no, I feel like an idiot wearing it.
Put me in that bee suit all day. I love it.
Didn't need it, dude. I learned you didn't need it. I learned you don't need it. Just walk around, man. They remove whole beehives with just their short sleeves.
Yeah, they're crazy. I asked Santos when we went out and did that a couple of years ago. I'm like, how often do you get stung? Every day.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn,
I guess you get used to it after a while if you're saving bees.
Yeah, I think the majority of people that say they're allergic to bees are just afraid of bees. They don't know if they're allergic or not. They have no idea if they're allergic to bees or not. They say, I'm allergic, so it doesn't make you look like a little, baby for going and running and heading to the hills.
Yeah, but if I hear you go, ah, then I know it's not allergies.
Okay, I gotta say
something. I
something.
make when I see a scorpion. Ah!
Literally is. And he bought a house that backs up to a mountain.
Smart
Smart
decision.
guy.
I make smart decisions, everyone.
Yeah, right. I gotta to wrap this up, and thanks guys for letting us move to Tuesday. We're gonna be doing this on Friday, so it's all good. We will be back with the Friday nooner, but there's a reason. We've been asked a couple of times on comments as to why Rob and I don't broadcast from the same location anymore, and that he's at his spot and I'm at my spot, and it's just it just worked out the way it did. But there actually is a reason. We actually have the video proof of that. When Rob and I are left unsupervised and in the same spot, this is what happens. Yep, it's the last time Rob and I were left unsupervised. Hey, y'all, thanks for hanging. I took that corner like a champ.
Whoa.
See, that's the last time and we were left unsupervised. Y'all, thank you very much for hanging out. We love you. We appreciate you guys. Remember, share this stuff out and subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. And thank you guys for your comments. And we'll see you Friday at noon right here on Russell and Hunters, the Brewmance. Have a good one, everyone.